with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up.
Boom! We are here. We're here, guys. What's going on? What's going on? Let me tighten up this microphone a little bit. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's official. We're live. We're live. Hey, guys, as you come in the room, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys, because it helps us out in the algorithm. It boosts us in the algorithm, gets our message out to a larger audience. Not only that, but it's a good way to show your love. I appreciate y'all supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all motivating me to keep this thing going, because it is a struggle. I've got juggling priorities right now. So be sure to hit the thumbs up button, keep me motivated, keep me here, giving y'all some content, giving y'all something to think about throughout the week to provoke thought. With that being said, let me go ahead and get comfortable because we've got some stuff to talk about tonight. As always, I've got some clips that we're going to break into. We've got some things to discuss. You see the title and you see the thumbnail. Tonight we're talking about systemic racism. Systemic racism. Now, I have been fortunate enough to be raised and come across folks of all different types of nationalities, races, and whatnot. One thing I've noticed, especially with the Anglo-Saxons in America, is they have this tendency to deny systemic racism. They tend to say, there's no such thing as systemic racism. Tell me one law in 2024 that affects black people that doesn't affect white people. They go on to argue, as a matter of fact, that black people in America have an advantage over white people. They say that, black people, we get DEI policies and we get affirmative action. So right now, white people, the Anglo-Saxons in America, seem to feel like the target of some unjust treatment. So tonight, we're going to break this whole topic down. I'm going to give you all a perspective you probably haven't heard of. And that is this. As far as systemic racism, we have to understand the difference between two words, de jure and de facto. De jure, and for this, let's go ahead and break into an article. All right, let's get into this. This is coming from Britannica. All right, this is coming from Britannica, talking about the difference between de jure and de facto. De facto is a legal concept. De facto is a legal concept used to refer to what happens in reality or in practice, as opposed to de jure, which is a legal law, meaning a Latin word meaning from the law, which refers to what is actually notated in legal code. For example, a de facto leader is someone who exerts authority over a country, but whose legitimacy is broadly rejected, while a de jure leader has a legal right to authority, whether or not that authority can be executed. These terms are often very important in legal matters where the de facto practice, though widely acceptedly known and used, differ from the legal standard. Okay, this is the difference between de jure and de facto. So when we're talking about the existence of systemic racism, we have to be clear And if anyone says, "Oh, there is no such thing as systemic racism," this is the information that you should counter them with. This is what you should present them with. You should tell them that there is a difference between de jure and de facto. If they say there's no laws that affect black people that do not affect white people, you should say, I will grant you, I will cede the point that de jure from the law, there is no systemic racism. Okay? Extend an olive branch. Say, hey, from the legal standpoint, if we're talking de jure, there is no such thing as systemic racism. However, and this is an important distinction, de facto, the fact of the matter is, in reality or in practice, there are widely accepted, known, and used actions which are racist. And this differs from the legal standard. All right. With that being said, to further give you some examples of de facto racism, I'm going to get into some clips. Because recently this video has gone viral of a judge telling us black folks about ourselves. Let me play this clip. Hold on. Let me play this clip. Boom. Y'all check this out. This is a Michigan judge going by the name Kathleen Ryan. She was recorded calling black Americans freaking lazy pieces of shiitake mushrooms and using homophobic slurs. She is no longer handling cases. See, this is the thing that they don't like. When they get exposed, see, there was a reason they used to wear robes. There was a reason the Klan used to wear robes, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Check out what she had to say.
Good morning. You may be seated.
After more than 13 years on the bench, Oakland County Chief Probate Pro Tem Judge Kathleen Ryan is out of her courtroom. Chief Probate Judge Linda Hallmark removed Judge Ryan from her docket last week, announcing that a complaint about internal allegations of unprofessional conduct was sent to the Judicial Tenure Commission. Judge Ryan was arrested in 2021 for domestic violence, but those charges were later dismissed. And now she's back in the headlines.
Well, if you're black from any other country, you're doing way better. If you're an American black person, then you're a lazy piece of.
The 7 investigators have obtained the recordings that county officials say prompted Judge Ryan's removal.
Oh, he's just I have no use for him.
She's made it a living hell in the past 6 years. I mean, it's been terrible. It's cost me relationships.
Kathleen A. Ryan presiding.
Okay, so here we see a judge who was on the bench for over 13 years, finally getting exposed for her racist remarks, her racist views. And I submit to you, how do you think her ideology, how do you think her racism affected her judgment while she was operating on the bench as a judge? How do you think she treated the defendants who came across her in her courtroom? Do you think that the white opioid addicted thief was treated the same way as the black heroin addicted trespasser? What do you think? Now, this is the difference between de jure and de facto. This judge who was on the bench making racist remarks towards black people, she was using the same law book when judging black defendants and when judging white defendants. But de facto, in practice and in reality, the racism, the systemic racism, is coming from the person who is sitting on the bench, who is in control of the system. The racism is in the person, not the system. All right? De facto. The fact of the matter is, this racist judge who was on the bench for 13 years, secretly cussing out black people, This woman is a part of the system. She is a cog in the system. So she is in the system and she is racist, hence the term systemic racism. Is it the law racist? No, the law isn't racist. It's the people in control of the systems that I am alleging are racist. And here's the thing, they do it so secretively these days. We're in 2024. You can't just be open with your racism as this judge, Kathleen Gray found out. You can't be open with your racism. Otherwise, you'll be removed from the bench, as Kathleen found out. Okay? But that's just one example. We see this type of thing all the time. Another situation, another example is what we see from a Hispanic city councilwoman in Los Angeles, California. Her name is the city council president, Nury Martinez, a Hispanic woman in a Democratic city in a Democratic state. Here's her talking about some black kid.
We don't know who recorded this hour-long conversation. We think it took place last October involving Martinez, City Council members Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo, and the president of the LA Federation of Labor, Ron Herrera. The group appears to be upset about the maps created by LA's Redistricting Commission, making incendiary remarks about Black people, Latino power, and their colleagues on the council. There are mounting calls on the president of LA's powerful city council to resign after leaked tapes of a private conversation reveal racist remarks about the black son of council member Mike Bonin. Nury Martinez calling him little monkey in Spanish.
Este niño has they're not even, they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the floor, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner.
The conversation first leaked onto the internet forum Reddit Friday. It's unknown who secretly recorded Martinez with council members Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo and the president of the LA Federation of Labor, Ron Herrera.
There's a what?
4 blacks.
4 blacks? Yeah. One.
Okay. So here we see this woman and her colleagues, the city council president, talking about one of her black colleagues, her Hispanic colleagues, and her are talking about this black colleague's child, calling the kid a little monkey, saying they're raising him like a white kid. Who does this little kid think he is? Does he think he's white? Now, how do you think the city council president, how do you think the racism within this woman? She's in charge of this system. She's a city council president. She's a cog, a member of the system. She's a part of the system. And yet she has racist ideologies. She has racist tendencies. And how do you think these racist, allegedly, I'm a business now, so I can't say, I gotta say allegedly. I don't want to get big and get sued. But she allegedly has these racist tendencies, these racist philosophies and ideologies, and yet she is a part of the system, hence systemic racism. And how do you think her philosophy, her ideology, her perspective on the way different races should be treated, because as she said about the kid, he thinks he should be treated like a little white kid. They're raising him like a white kid. He needs a beat down. We got to put him in his place. We got to teach him he's not a white kid, he's a black kid. How do you think a city council member with this type of ideology treats her constituents? Business owners who might need permits, right? We wonder why black businesses are targeted. Yeah, targeted. We saw what happened to the Turkey Leg Hut. We saw how difficult it was for folks out in LA like Tariq Nasheed to get the business. His museum opened out there, his Black History Museum out there. We see how these systems, the racists who are parts of this system, practice systemic racism. So although the laws that they have instituted, and we can break down some of these laws which are disproportionately harmful towards us, we can break into that. But right now, today, I'm focusing on the fact that de facto, whether I see the point of de jure systemic racism or not, I'm showing you that de facto, in reality, in practice, systemic racism is a thing. The judge that I just played, going off on this racist rant, Kathleen Gray, removed after 13 years on the bench, harboring these racist ideologies. The president of the City Council of Los Angeles, Muri Nunes, going off with these racist rants. These are high-ranking members of systems who are practicing racism against their constituents, against the people, the black people, who depend on their systems for safety and security and equality. Okay? So whether you believe it or not, there is de facto systemic racism. Not only that, this is something that black people, we really don't get into it. You know, we don't get into office, get elected with the intention of harming black people, harming other races of people. We don't get elected into office. Think about the Congressional Black Caucus and all they've done for the immigrants, the Hispanics, these other races, people who are not even foundationally black American. Think about all that the Congressional Black Caucus has done for other groups. We don't get elected and try to harm or pass laws to injure or disenfranchise other groups. That's just not something that we do. But that's something that these other groups do regularly, routinely. They partake in the system with the intention of putting power behind their racism. Not only that, the people who do not get into the system with the intention of getting government backing for their racism, they practice racism on a more militant level, direct racist attacks, even now in 2024. Y'all check this out in case you haven't heard. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, and bada bing, and bada boom, and bada bow.
Terrorgram. This afternoon, we're learning more about the two people charged with leading a white supremacist group here in California and the phone app they used to hash out their secret plans. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us for Action News Live at 4:30. I'm Dale Urong.
And I'm Graciela Moreno. Action News reporter Cassandra Gutierrez has the latest on the arrest and the detailed crimes the two allegedly encouraged others to commit.
In a press conference Monday morning, leaders from the Department of Justice announced the arrests of 34-year-old Dallas Aaron Humber from Elk Grove and 37-year-old Matthew Robert Allison from Boise, Idaho. The Justice Department is accusing them both of leading a white supremacist group and trying to start a race war in the United States. Both are being charged with a 15-count indictment. It includes conspiring to provide material support to terrorists and more.
The indictment alleges that the defendant solicited others to engage in hate crimes and terrorist attacks against Black, immigrant, LGBT, and Jewish people.
The DOJ says Humber and Allison used the Telegram app to lead their group chat, which they called Terrorgram Collective. Investigators found messages praising past mass shooters that targeted certain minority groups.
These are not mere words. Terrorgram users have carried out or planned attacks after being guided by Terrorgram publications and instruction videos. In October 2022, a 19-year-old in Slovakia murdered two people and shot a third in an LGBTQ bar. And then just last month, an 18-year-old in Turkey live streamed himself stabbing 5 people outside a mosque. The attacker shared multiple Telegram publications with others before committing the attack, and defendant Humber later posted in a Telegram group chat that, quote, he was 100% our guy.
The two suspects also shared a list of their targets, which included U.S. senators, federal judges, U.S. attorneys, and local officials.
The defendants disseminated a list of, quote, high-value targets for assassination. The list included targets' names, their addresses, and photographs. And when disseminating the list, defendant Allison encouraged users to, quote, take action now, and, quote, do your part.
It's unclear if attorney information for Humber or Allison is available. In the South Valley, I'm Cassandra Gutierrez, ABC 30 Action News.
Terrorgram. This afternoon, we're learning more about the 2 people charged with leading a white supremacist group here in California and the phone app they used to...
Hold on. Okay. So we see here that there's organized groups putting out manifestos, organizing with the intention of starting a race war. You always hear the white folks say, oh, there's going to be a race war in America. We got to prepare for the Civil War, the race war in America. Do you ever see black people organizing and getting ready for Civil War? Or better yet, do you ever see black people organizing and getting ready for a race war? What kind of one-sided war are you planning on having? Who are you fighting against and where are you going to have it? I'm always confused when people say, oh yeah, this is going to be, if Trump was assassinated, there would be civil war in America. Civil war between who? Between who? These white folks might be organizing, but who are they going to be fighting? Because we're not over here fighting a civil war. We're not shooting at the police. Do you understand the fact that although black people are disproportionately killed by the police are disproportionately killed by white civilians? If you look at the statistics of who shoots and kills police officers the most often, white civilians are the ones that kill the police at a far higher rate than black people shoot and kill police. That's a fact. Look it up. That's a fact. Look it up. So they're so hyper fixated on we've got to keep black folks down. We've got to start a race war. We've got to prepare for a race war. You don't understand. You're competing against yourself. Nobody is over here trying to start a race war against white people. It's a state of paranoia, constant paranoia. And let me be specific, all white people don't think like this. It's a state of paranoia that the suspected white supremacists are operating under. Because again, whether Trump got elected or not, whether Trump got assassinated or not, there's not going to be a civil war in America. Forget about it. It's not going to be a race war. That's the last thing you should be worried about, is a race war in America. Because you need 2 races to war in a race war. And the white supremacists are the only ones who's planning on participating. I don't see Hispanics saying, oh yeah, we need to get a race war cracking. Hey, let's instigate a race war in America. I don't see Hispanics talking like that. I don't see black folks talking like that. I only see white supremacists on paper, online, FBI investigations proving and alleging and arresting people who have the intentions of provoking a race war in America. We see folks like Dylan Roof, who would go into a church, shoot up 9 innocent Christians after praying with them, and his own words, his own manifesto. Why would you do it? I wanted to start a race war. Black folks, we just don't do that. We don't try to provoke race wars in America. That's just not something we do. We don't get elected to be a judge. We don't work through college, go through law school, work as a lawyer, get in position as a judge with the intention of disenfranchising other groups. Like we see Kathleen Gray, who was just removed from the bench after 13 years for being exposed for her racist remarks that she was hiddenly recorded making. We don't do that. You're not going to see Ketanji Brown, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown, over here trying to disenfranchise. Oh, I'm going to get elected to the Supreme Court so I can pass laws against white people. Like, no, that's just not something that we do. So when you talk about systemic racism, it's a real thing. And it's one-sided. Not only is it real, and it's one-sided. All right. I've got a couple more clips I want to break into. This is going to be a short one tonight. I got a couple more clips I want to break into. But first, I got to give a shout out and salute to Brandon Sophia. Welcome back, Brandon Sophia. Love to see you in the chat, staying active as always. Brandon Sophia says she studied black codes in college with affirmative action, allowing her to be first woman of law in her family and state. Are you talking about Kathleen Gray? The white judge who was just removed after 13 years for making racist comments, calling black people lazy pieces of shiitake mushrooms. Is that who you're talking about? Okay, she's the first woman in law. Good for her. They can out all power-hungry minorities. I guess you're talking about Nuri, the city council member from LA. They can out all. Who is they? Who is they that can out all the power-hungry minorities? Brandon Sophia says Congressional Black Caucus held up the cause of black farmers and had to put HBCUs on the back burner. I did see that reparations was paid to not only black farmers but minority farmers who were victims of racism, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it didn't just help black people. It wasn't just black farmers. It was minority, quote unquote, minority farmers. Yeah. Towards black farmers who were who were systematically discriminated. Yeah, black farmers were a part of that lawsuit and got reparations, but it wasn't exclusive to black farmers. FBI is watching this, and you're online and adding you to their list of potential suspects. I hope you know. What am I being suspected of? I'm a tax-paying citizen. You can suspect me for what? I got free speech. This is America. I'm a tax-paying citizen. I can say whatever I want on here. I haven't committed any crimes, so they can put me on any watch list. I don't mind. That's cool. Watch me. Watch me. They're watching me. They're watching you. They're watching everybody. You got Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Have you read the terms of agreement when you downloaded Instagram? Did you read the terms of service when you downloaded YouTube? Do you have an iPhone? Do you understand what Siri is? They're watching me. Yeah, they're watching us. Brandon Sophia, you stack equally with the racist you speak about. I stack equally with a judge who's putting people in prison, who's calling black people lazy, saying black immigrants, they're lucky to be here, and the black people who built the country, they're lazy pieces of crap. I'm equal with her? How so? How so? How am I as equally racist as her? You're gonna have to explain that one. I haven't put anybody in prison. I haven't called anybody, any group of people based on their race, lazy pieces of crap. I'm not. Yeah, don't put me in that boat. Last one. That is your prerogative. Yeah, that's my prerogative. I don't know what you're referring to, but you can bet if I said it, it's my prerogative. Now check this out. Here we see, going back to the systemic racism, one of the things that I'm sure I would be remiss if I didn't mention was police brutality, right? We got to talk about, if we're talking about does de facto police brutality, de facto systemic racism, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about police brutality. Now recently this clip has gone viral of the football player Tyreek Hill getting roughed up a little bit by the police down there in Miami. He was able to get released without any charges being filed. He went to the football game that night and got a W, as he should. I'm curious to see if he's going to sue for excessive force. Luckily, I don't think he was too injured. I'm going to play the clip so we're all on the same page as far as what happened. Come back with some thoughts, and then I'm going to, then we'll move forward from there. But check out this clip of Tyreek Hill, him getting roughed up by the police. Y'all check this out. There we go.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Like what? Why do you have it up? Hey, keep your window down. Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. We'll break that freaking window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Hey! Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery in your ears when we go there with the window down.
He's saying he just had surgery on his knee.
Hey, Joe New, bro. Back up. Hey, call Drew.
He's already out the car. He's in handcuffs. So he's getting hit from behind.
Hey, call Drew, bro. Hey, what? Hey, call Drew, bro. Just call Drew. Hey. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing nothing. What am I doing that's wrong? Hey, listen. Take it back in the Hey, listen. Hey, man, they got Tyreek. The cops over here beating on him, man. They over here beating on Tyreek, man.
Don't park there, man. Just get in the car.
Hey, Drew, you gotta come, man.
Just get in the car.
Straight up the side, on the side of the,
Hey, get in the car. You're parked in the middle of the street.
Hey. Hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. I just had surgery on my knee, bro.
Hold on. Okay. So in this video, we see a couple things. Number one, Tyreek Hill was acting like trying to use my words wisely on YouTube. He was acting belligerent by not keeping that window rolled down. All right. So I'll see the point that he was not initially being cooperative with the police. All right. Now I'm sending that olive branch out to show I'm being fair and unbiased. He should not have rolled the window back up. The police were already made contact with him, and the police could take that as a sign of him trying to disengage, possibly drive away. So they had the right to get him out of the car. For the record, if the police ever ask you to get out of the car, get out of the car. Okay? You do not have the right to remain in the car if the police ask you to get out of the car. If you've been pulled over and the police say get out of the car, get out of the car. All right? Now I'm being fair. That's legal. That's law school 101. All right? You get pulled over, the police tell you to get out the car, or they will legally have the right to drag you out of the car. So get out of the car when the police say get out of the car. With that being said, after he got out of the car, he was in handcuffs, standing on the side of the road with police already, with one officer already having his hand on Tyreek Hill. So he's not a flight risk. This is a very well-known individual. He is not a flight risk. He is not a danger to the police. Okay? He's not going to shoot the police. He's not going to fight the police. This is a well-known football player from the city of Miami, Tyreek Hill. Imagine Tom Brady getting pulled over in New England and getting pulled out of the car and forced to the ground. All right, this is the double standard here is de facto systemic racism. People participating in the system, the police, practicing racism. Racism being unequal and unfair treatment of one group differently based on race than another group. Tom Brady would not be getting pulled out of the car in New England and thrown to the ground after already being handcuffed with one officer in physical contact with him, standing calmly. This is excessive force. But if you check the comments section, a lot of people are defending the police. They're saying, hey, Tyreek Hill, he should have got out the car. He shouldn't have rolled the window back up. He was wrong. He should have just cooperated with the police. He should have obeyed lawful orders. Hey, I get it. Luckily, in this situation, nobody was killed. It wasn't a violent situation. The officers had no reason to shoot Tyreek Hill. It's not like he was trying to break into the Capitol building with a mob and injure politicians, kidnap politicians. It's not like he was storming a government building, right? He was just speeding. So when people defend him getting pulled out of the car, hey, that's fair, right? And the same logic should go for Ashley Babbitt. And yet, because the officer involved in Ashley Babbitt's case was black and the victim of police, quote unquote, police brutality was white, everyone in the comments section seems to be in defense of Ashley Babbitt, to the point where you have a presidential candidate representing the Republican Party bringing up Ashley Babbitt's name and respecting not the officer. This Republican presidential candidate isn't respecting the officer who defended himself and defended politicians whose lives were in danger. The presidential candidate is calling out Ashley Babbitt's name, ignoring the fact that she was a part of an angry mob who was shot in the process of breaking into a government building. To be clear, let's watch a video to give some context before we further analyze. Check this out.
Were you afraid that day?
I was very afraid.
Are you afraid now?
I am afraid because I know there's people that disagree with my actions on January the 6th. But I hope they understand I did my job. And there was imminent threats and danger to the members of Congress.
In the chaotic minutes before Lieutenant Michael Byrd shot...
Look at what's happening here. The glass is being broken down. The officer is standing on the other side of this door looking at a angry mob of people with masks over their face, actively committing a crime, actively breaking property, damaging government property, with the police officer saying, stop, move back. These people, Ashley Babbitt included, are actively committing a crime, moving towards an officer who is telling them to stop.
In the chaotic minutes before Lieutenant Michael Byrd shot and killed rioter Ashley Babbitt, a cascade of alarming messages crackled through his police radio.
Yells for help and, officer down and screaming as they're being assaulted.
This video from inside the House chamber captures Byrd instructing members of Congress to don gas masks.
We got a disbursement of tear gas in the rotunda.
Then, instructions to prepare for the worst.
I'd ask them to remove their pins, to remove their jackets, to look like staff as much as possible, and to seek shelter by staying down below their chairs.
Soon, a horde of demonstrators stormed up the stairs to the House chamber.
There's a gun! He's got a gun! He's got a gun!
Byrd is seen taking a defensive posture with his gun.
This looks like a scene from Call of Duty. This looks like Call of Duty zombies. These people are literally trying to break down government property while an officer is standing there telling them to get back. They look like zombies.
Drawn.
I didn't even realize I had been yelling and screaming as loud as I was. Please stop, get back, stop.
We see your arm out there for a considerable amount of time.
Yes.
Were you wavering?
I was, again, taking a tactical stance. You're ultimately hoping that your commands will be complied with, and unfortunately they were not.
What did you think this individual was doing at that moment?
She was posing a threat to United States House of Representatives.
But an attorney for Ashley Babbitt's family disputes that. He did not respond to our request for a comment, but in a previous statement said Babbitt was not brandishing a weapon, not in close proximity to members of Congress, and was not an imminent threat of death or serious injury to anyone.
Based on your training, in that case, does it matter that the person was armed or not?
According to law, it does not. I know based on my training and my policy, what I did was appropriate.
Multiple investigations have now upheld Byrd's actions on January 6th.
Have you continued to question your actions that day?
I knew that day. I followed my training, and I spent countless years preparing for such a moment. You ultimately hope that moment never occurs.
Listen, that man did the right thing. That man did the right thing. Who knows what that mob would have done to him? Forget the politicians who were behind him, hiding, trying to act like staff members because they didn't know that there was a noose outside ready to hang any politician they could get their hands on. What would that mob have done to him as an individual? He didn't wake up and go to work that day planning on shooting anyone. He went there thinking it's going to be a routine walk around the Capitol building, not knowing there would be an angry mob who would disobey lawful orders, commit crimes right in front of him, crimes like trespassing, because he's standing there saying, get back, stop damaging our window, stop damaging our door. There's an angry mob with weapons. They're using weapons in order to break through the door. It literally looked like a scene from Call of Duty Zombies. That man did the right thing. And yet, because he's a black officer and the woman being shot there is white, we see massive pressure. That man is scared for his life. We see threats against that man's life for defending himself and defending the United States government. Make no mistake about it, if those people would have gotten their hands on Nancy Pelosi or Mike Pence or any other politician, things wouldn't have gone like you thought. Things would not have gone smoothly. So that man defended politicians. He defended the U.S. Capitol building. He defended a U.S. government property. He defended himself against an angry mob who was disobeying police orders. Shout out and salute to that black officer who defended himself from Ashley Babbitt and that angry mob. Well done. Well done. And yet the system wants to defend the officers who would tackle from behind Tyreek Hill, an NFL player with a bad knee while he's already in handcuffs, but they want to demonize this black officer who literally protected this Capitol building, protected the politicians therein, and protected himself. See, this is the systemic racism that I'm talking about. The treatment the unfair, unequal treatment based on race. And it's not de jure, it's not legal, it's de facto. It's reality. That's what it is. It's not de jure, it's de facto. That's the difference. So when we're talking about systemic racism, understand we're not talking about de jure. We're talking about de facto. The people who are parts of the system, who participate in the system, and participate in racism simultaneously. And I think it's hard to deny with overwhelming evidence that there are people in this world, in this country, that participate in the system of white supremacy, who participate in the system while harboring racist views and ideologies. And if the people that make up the system harbor racist views and philosophies, then it's not a misnomer to call that systemic racism. But hey, tell me if you agree. If you've made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. We're almost done. We're wrapping it up. Before I go, I want to be sure to call out and salute Brandon Sophia. Brandon Sophia has been active tonight in the comment section. Let me read some of these final comments before I get out of here. All right. Brandon Sophia says, there was a black football player from Denver who said he was treated hostile on an American Airlines flight, and after a couple of TV interviews with his lovely wife, American Airlines still banned him from boarding their planes. This video, football player will settle outside of the court, talking about Tyreek Hill. The video, he will settle outside the court and will be handled by the NFL media relations. Absolutely. Yep, he's going to settle if he even chooses to sue, which he should. But because the NFL is related, they're going to want to settle that. And it looks bad for the city. It's a bad look for Miami. It's a bad look for Miami Police Department. So yeah, they're going to try to keep that hush hush. They're going to try to bury that. Brandon Sophia again. That Miami football player looks like an average black man from Freaknik of Bike Week, blasting 2 Live crew, and Miami police had to put down a lot of those cats to bring order to their city. I'm from Atlanta, so when you bring up Freaknik, that's kind of funny because I remember Freaknik back in the early 90s. I saw some crazy stuff when I was a kid in the 90s. Yeah, well, he was driving a Lamborghini, so I don't know if I would think he was just an average black man. I don't know too many average black men driving Lamborghinis in Miami. Brandon Sophia says the Miami police are working off past experience. No, they're working off racism. Like I said, they wouldn't treat Tom Brady like that. If Aaron Rodgers was in town, they wouldn't treat Aaron Rodgers like that. They wouldn't treat Gronkowski like that. They wouldn't treat no, they're treating him like that because he was black and he was belligerent. He was in a Lamborghini and they were like, who does nagger think he is? This nagger in a nicer car than me thinks he can just ignore me and roll his window up. We're gonna put this nagger in his place. That's what they were thinking. That's what they were thinking. The Miami police are working off past experience. Yeah, they're working off racism. This was dealt with by the media and congressional committee meetings. His case was transferred to the FBI for analysis and protection. What was What was dealt with by the congressional committee meeting? You're talking about the situation with Tyreek Hill? I don't think there was a congressional committee meeting over that. That was a local issue. I don't think the congressional committee would meet over that. Shout out and salute to Jinx88. I haven't seen you in the chat before. What's going on, Jinx? Jinx says, I mean, if you're going to act smug, they won't treat you well. Absolutely. I agree. The black DC officer. Yeah, the black DC officer, it was dealt with by, I don't know if it was dealt with by the media, but he was exonerated. They did investigations on the black officer, but he didn't do anything wrong. He acted in accordance with his training. He dealt with the threat at hand. He did the right thing. He did the right thing. So yeah, there was nothing there. For Jinx86, let me ask you, bro, if you're still in here. Yeah, I agree with you that they're going if you act smug, then the police aren't going to treat you well. I agree with you. So what do you think about the Ashley Babbitt case then? Do you think that Ashley Babbitt deserved to be shot on January 6th? Ashley Babbitt was was acting smug. She was disobeying police orders. So if you think that Tyreek Hill should have been mistreated because he was acting smug, driving his Lamborghini, then I would assume you would keep that same passion, you would keep that same perspective and say that the black officer was right for shooting Ashley Babbitt in the face. I would assume, if you're still in here, that you wouldn't be biased in any way, and you would have that same moral compass to defend the police for shooting Ashley Babbitt, right? Right. Well, if so, be sure to put it in the comment section. The police did the right thing by defending the Capitol building from Ashley Babbitt and the other violent rioters, insurrectionists. All right, guys, let me see. I think that's going to be it for tonight. Yeah, it's getting late. Been on here for a little bit. Hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. Read all the comments as always. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the thumbs up button to support us in the channel. Keep me motivated to keep making these videos, keep touching on some interesting, thought-provoking topics. And if you haven't already, be sure to smash the subscribe button for content just like this. More content, more interesting perspectives on a wide range of topics and content, whether it be news, politics, current events, sports, and more. Be sure to subscribe and come on back for more. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
These bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, there ain't no stopping me. I ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, there ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up, it ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand